Hey guys, we're going to be doing a little review here. So you will need, it says mark boards up here. Um, so let's go ahead and get our marker board stuff. Might need to pause the video here and allow students a chance to get their marker board materials. All right, once we got the marker board materials, all right, let's go ahead and start off here. So let me get rid of my ugly mug. Peace, ugly mug. And we are going to start off with this set of problems. Okay, some review on stuff from the last quiz that will end up being on our chapter test next week. So please pause the video and give the students 4 minutes to complete these 4 problems. All right, these are our exponent rules. So this first one is multiplication. Remember the regular numbers, the base numbers, the 4 and the 2, those are being multiplied together. And then we need to remember with the x's and y's, when we multiply, we are adding exponents. So start off, 4 times 2 is 8. For the x's, we're going to add their 2 exponents, 3 and 4. So 3 plus 4 is going to be x to the 7th power. And then for the y's, we have a 4 and a 2. So 4 plus 2 is y to the 6th power. And that's our answer. For number 2, start off with our fraction, 6 over 8. You can use the ABC button on our calculators. And then we have our m's being divided and our n's being divided. Now, the fraction is the fraction. You can use your ABC button. 6 over 8 simplifies to be 3 over 4. Okay? Now, with the m's and the n's, when we're dividing, we're going to subtract exponents. So we have 4 minus 1 for the m's. 4 minus 1 is 3. It's positive, so I put it on the top part of the fraction. Okay? For the n's, I have 3 minus 4. 3 minus 4 is negative 1. Remember, the negative tells me to put n to the first on the bottom, and that's my answer. Okay? Number 3 is the power property. And with the power property, we're going to be multiplying exponents. So let's write down our 3 bases. We have a 4, we have an x, and we have a y. The 4 does have an exponent of 1, and we're multiplying all exponents by 3. So 1 times 3 is 4 to the 3rd. 3 times 3 be x to the 9th. 2 times 3, y to the 6th. And then I just need to figure out what 4 to the 3rd power is. 4 raised to the 3rd power is 64. And last but not least, anything raised to the 0 power equals 1. So remember, those types of problems will be on our chapter test next week. They don't go away. All right, now let's look at what is going to be on the quiz at the end of class today. So let's start off with these 2. I'm going to let you guys do these 2. So someone please pause the video and give the students 2 minutes to do these 2 problems. All right, this is distributive property. I'm going to use the box. So this is a 1 by 2 box. That's 7x to the 3rd being multiplied to 3x to the 1st and a negative 5. Now remember, if I'm multiplying by an x to the 3rd, both of these exponents should be going up by 3. So 7 times 3 is 21. X to the 1st, I have to add 3 exponents. That becomes x to the 4th. For the negative 5, 7 times negative 5 is negative 35. Now this one doesn't have an x, so I'd be putting my x to the 3rd there. Okay? Neither of these are like terms, so my answer, 21x to the 4th minus 35x to the 3rd. Okay, the second one. We're multiplying into a trinomial this time, so I need just a little bit wider. I need a 3 box, 1 by 3. So 4x to the 1st. That's multiplied to 1x squared, negative 2x to the 1st, and negative 7. Now in this one, I'm multiplying with an x to the first. So you want to make sure you're thinking about these things. My exponents are going up by 1. So 4 times 1 is 4. X times x squared, that becomes x to the third. I go up by 1. 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. X at first times x at first, that goes up by 1. It becomes x squared. And then 4 times negative 7 is negative 28. And then I need to have the x on that. Okay, none of those are like terms. So we have 4x to the third minus 8x squared minus 28x. Now, for the next 3, I'm going to go over the problems. Okay, I want to make sure that we're all on the same page with how to do these, and then you're going to be doing some practice on these. So let's start off with this particular one. Okay, now notice there's a little bit more information. The first thing I need to look at is, do I need to distribute? And if we look in front of our parentheses here, both parentheses have a positive 1 in front of them. So since they're positive 1s, when I multiply by 1, nothing changes. So I do not have to distribute. It's already done. So I'm just going to add up the like terms. Remember, they have to have the same exponents. So my end of the thirds, you want to go with the biggest ones first. My end of the thirds, 2 and negative 2. 2 plus negative 2 is 0. So those are gone. We do not write end of the third, it's just gone. The next biggest is the ends, the end of the first. We have a 5 and a 6. 5 plus 6 is 11. That's gone. And then last, we have our numbers, our constants. 5 plus negative 4 is positive 1, and that would be my answer. Okay, so we will have 2 problems like this on our quiz. Okay, just to be clear, we'll have 2 problems like these on our quiz too. Okay, the next type we'll have on our quiz looks like this. We'll have 2 problems like this. Now, for this one, you always start off and think, do I have to distribute? And in this particular one, I do have to distribute the second one because that has a negative 1. When I multiply by negative 1, things will change. So negative 1 times 2b to the third is negative 2b to the third. Negative 1 times 8b is negative 8b. And negative 1 times negative 6b to the fourth, negative times a negative is a positive 6b to the fourth. Now this first one, I don't have to do anything to it, but I'm going to drop it like it's hot. 7b to the third minus 6b to the fourth plus 5b. And now we're looking for like terms. My b to the fourths, negative 6 plus 6. Negative 6 plus 6 is 0. Those are gone. My b to the thirds, 7 and negative 2. 7 and negative 2 is 5. So I have 5 of the b to the thirds. I didn't mention this in the last one, but when we're adding, we don't mess with exponents. We're just counting up how many of them we have. And then last, I have my b to the first, 5 and negative 8. That would be negative 3 of the b's. And there's my answer. The last type that's on our quiz is we will have 2 problems like this. Now, on these, we need to make sure that we're understanding we do need to distribute. We have a lot of distributing to do. I'm going to choose to use a box on this one because there's a lot of information. So this first one, I'm multiplying by a 3p to the first. I need a 1 by 2 box. So 3p to the first, 5p to the first, and 1p to the third. Now I'm going to go ahead and distribute this. Okay, I am distributing a p to the first, so both of these exponents should go up by 1. So 3 times 5 is 15, and that's going to become p squared. 3 times 1 is 3, and that is going to become p to the fourth. So that distribute part is finished. And now I have my second distribute part. This one, we're distributing a 2p to the first. So I need a little bit bigger box because that's a trinomial there. So it'd be 2p to the first, 4p to the first, negative 6p to the fourth, and 2p to the third. So 2p, no, better start here, sorry. I'm multiplying by a p to the first, so all of my exponents should be going up 1. Okay? So 2 times 4 is 8. That is now going to be p squared. 2 times negative 6 is negative 12. That is now going to be p to the fifth. And 2 times 2 is 4. It's going up 1. That is now going to be p to the fourth power. And now I need to look throughout the inside of my box and find the biggest exponent. The biggest exponent is actually right here, my negative 12p to the fifth. But that's the only one of its kind, so I just write it down. Negative 12p to the fifth. My p to the fourths, we have 3 and 4. 3 plus 4, I have 7 of the p to the fourths. And then my p squareds, 15 plus 8, that would be 23 of the p squareds. And that would be my answer. So make sure you're taking your time, be careful as you are going through these problems. Okay. Now, we're going to do some review. Unfortunately, I'm not here, so we can't do this in a game form. But we want to make sure that we get a chance to review. Let's go ahead. And we're going to do 2 at a time. So, let's someone please pause the video and give the students 4 minutes to complete these 2 problems. All right, this first one, distribute. We're distributing an n squared, so remember all the exponents go up by 1. Or sorry, we're distributing n squared, all the exponents should go up by 2. So 6 times 2 is 12, n squared times n to the first is n to the third. That's going up by 2. 6 times 1 is 6, and then I do need to put the n squared on it. Okay, a lot of times we forget that n squared. That would be the answer. For the second one, you do not have to you do not have to distribute. All you got to do is add up the like terms. So my a to the thirds, 2 plus 3 is 5. My a squareds, 3 plus 2 is 5. And then my a's, 5 plus 5 is 10. Remember, when we are adding, we don't mess with exponents. Okay? All right, let's do another set. So please pause the video and give the students about 4 minutes to complete these 2 problems. All right, this first one we do have to distribute, but it's only the second one. So we bring this down, b to the fourth, 1b to the fourth minus 1b to the third, plus 8b squared, and then we are distributing negative 1 times 8. That's negative 8b to the third. Negative 1 times 2 is negative 2. We're distributing, and negative 1 times 8 is negative 8b to the fourth. I got to look for my biggest exponent, and my biggest exponent is the b to the fourth. So 1 and negative 8. That would be negative 7. B to the fourth. My b to the thirds, I have a negative 1 and a negative 8. So when I add those, I would get negative 9, b to the third. Now, that is the only b squared, so I write it down. And that is the only constant, so I just write it down. Don't forget about that minus 2. It seems to get forgotten pretty often. Number 4, we are just distributing. Okay, so remember, we are distributing an a to the first, so we do need to add exponents we're going to add 1 to each exponent, and then this one's going to get an A. Okay, so 3 times 1 is 3. It's going to be A to the third. 3 times -7 is -21. That is going to become A squared. And 3 times -8 is -24. A. And that would be my answer. I got a few more sets here before we take the quiz. So please pause the video and give the students 6 minutes to complete these 2 problems. I wanted to give you extra time for this one because the first problem, there is a lot of distributing to do. So I'm going to make my boxes because there's a lot going on here. 2 1x3 boxes. Okay, for this first one, I have 3b to the first multiplied to 5, -5b squared, and -5b to the third. For this one, I have 4b to the first multiplied to 4b squared, 6, and 8b to the third. Now let's go ahead and multiply. I am multiplying by b to the first, so all the exponents go up 1. 3 times 5 is 15. Don't forget the b. 3 times -5 is -15. And I add 1 to my exponents. That becomes b to the third. It's -15, b to the 4th power. So that one's done. For the second one, I'm multiplying by 4b to the first. Again, I am multiplying by a b to the first, so all my exponents should go up 1. So 4 times 4 is 16. That is going to be b to the third. 4 times 6 is 24. That is going to be a b. 4 times 8 is 32. And then that one's going to be b to the 4th power. And now I just got to add up the like terms. The b to the 4ths. -15 plus 32. That is 17 b to the 4ths. The b to the thirds. I have a -15 and a 16. -15 plus 16 is +1. And then lastly, my b's, 15 plus 24, that is 39 b. And that one's done. For the second one here, number 6, we just need to distribute. Now, it's okay. Some of you might prefer to do the box. Some of you might not. So I'm going to go ahead and do the box this time because I didn't on the last just straight distribute problem. Now, on this one, I'm multiplying by a p to the 4th, so all my exponents should go up by 4. Okay? So 2 times 3 is 6. That is going to be p to the 6th power now. 2 times 3 is 6. That is going to be p to the 5th power now. And 2 times 18 is 16. That is going to be p to the 4th power now. They're not like terms. Please do not forget your plus signs to separate your 3 terms. And there's our answer. All right, 2 more sets here. So please pause the video and give the students 6 minutes to complete these 2 problems. All right. Do my boxes here. So I have a lot to distribute. This one, multiplying by 4x to the first into 5x to the 4th, 4 and 2x to the 3rd. On this one, I have a -3. Make sure I don't forget that negative. It's 4x to the first, -2x to the 4th, and -4x to the 3rd. All my exponents are going up by 1. That doesn't have 1, so we'll get 1. So 4 times 5 is 20, x to the 5th. 4 times 4 is 16, x. 4 times 2 is 8, x to the 4th now. Now this one, I'm just multiplying by a -3, so my x's should not change. So I'd have -12x, +6x to the fourth, and +12x to the third. Biggest exponent is my x to the fifth. It's the only one of its kind, so just write it down. 20x to the fifth. My x to the fourth, I have an 8 and a 6. 8 plus 6 is 14. Those are done. Then I have this x to the third. It's the only one of its kind, so write it down. And then I have my x's. Okay, 16 and -12. That would be +4x. And that would be my answer. For number 8, you do not have to distribute. You just got to add up the like terms. So I'm going to start off with my n to the fourth. 1 and -1, that's 0. Those are gone. Okay. Then my n squareds. 3 and 6, that is 9. And finally, my constants, 7 plus 12. 7 plus 5. That would be 12. And there's my answer. Okay. Last set here. So please pause the video and give the students 4 minutes to complete these 2 problems. All right, this first one, we are distributing. We are distributing an n to the first, so all my exponents are going to go up by 1. So 3n times n, that's going to be 3n to the second. 3n times -4, that's going to be -12n. Do not forget the n on that one. Okay? Now, in number 10, you do need to distribute the second one. Okay? So I do need to distribute here. -1 times 7x to the third is -7x to the third. Negative times a negative is a positive. 1x to the fourth. Negative times a negative is a positive 3. I like to drop it like it's hot. X to the fourth first. 8 plus 1. That's 9 of the x to the fourth. Okay, remember, when you add, you don't mess with exponents. X to the thirds. -2 and -7. That's -9. X to the third. Those are done. Then I have this x. It's the only one. So -7x. And then do not forget about this +3 that's hanging on at the end there. That would be our answer for that. All right, we are going to be taking our quiz. Okay, so what I need y'all to do is make sure that our desks are cleared. Okay, we can go ahead and put our marker boards away here in a second when the sub gives us permission. But I need our desks cleared. Remember, you are not allowed to use your phones. They should not be out on your desk. Okay, they need to be away. Once you turn in your quiz to the sub, let's make sure that we are getting the worksheet that we received before break turned in. Okay, if you do not have a copy, you can find that assignment on Canvas. Okay, there's a PDF version of it. Okay, so let's go ahead. We are taking the quiz. Let's make sure we get that done, and then we will be done for today. All right, leave it to the sub, and we will see you later.